Hi, Facebook. I am just hooking up to Instagram here, and then we are going to go live. Hello, Instagram. Welcome. Happy Feeling Fab Friday. I'm here live. I'm just going to wait for a couple of you to join me here. But today we're going to be talking about something really important I'm very passionate about, and that is all about hormonal birth control, PMS, and periods. I'm going to be dropping a couple truth bombs, and it's gonna get real up in here today. But I just really think this information is important because so many women out there are on hormonal birth control and they have no idea how it's affecting them on the regs, and I want to lay that out for you a little bit today as much as I can in this Feeling Fab Friday live. So first of all, the birth control pill is associated with all sorts of things such as autoimmune disease, inflammation, and any sort of insulin resistance issues can be stemmed through being on the birth control pill. So unfortunately, it's really the only solution that's been provided to us if we have hormone issues. So I know for me, I was put on the pill at a young age, mostly because I had heavy periods and I had skin issues, and this was the only answer. So in traditional gynecology, really our options are, the birth control pill, an implant, an IUD, and then we go into, issues with IVF or hysterectomies or all these sorts of things without getting to the root issue about what is really going on. So the first thing I really want to talk about is the fact that there is literally no progesterone in birth control. Okay, so why does this matter? Because progesterone is like our really important hormone that helps us with being calm. It helps us with our mood. It helps us with our hair. It helps us with our immune function. It helps us with depression, anxiety, all these things. And when that hormone is literally taken away and we're given like a really shitty replacement in a progestin, it starts to affect things in our body. So there was actually a study done for 13 years in Denmark on women who were on the birth control pill where they tracked 1.1 million women. Okay, so this isn't just a fluke, this is a lot of women. And they followed them and watched them throughout their course on birth control pills. And they found a huge correlation between birth control pills and depression and anxiety. The other thing I want to bring up is that birth control actually literally changes, any hormonal birth control, specifically the pill, but the other ones also do, changes the structure of your brain. Okay, so this is like literally our brains, the brains of women who are on hormonal birth control look different than women who are off birth control. It alters the brain structure. And this is really scary because if women or young girls are being put on birth control pills at such a young age, it's literally affecting their brains and how they're developed. So if you think about it, if you start getting your period when you are 13 and you're put on birth control pill really early, your brain does not stop developing for, until you're 21 or 20 in your 20s. So that much time has been affected. Your brain's been affected by this birth control pill, and it's actually causing your brain to develop differently, which is crazy. This is literally crazy on how this is affecting the human race and how it's altering just the way that women show up personality-wise and more based on the fact they've been on birth control pills for such a long time. So also, teenage girls are so susceptible to depression at that age, so it's really interesting to see the correlation of when people start birth control pills and then when they start depression meds. They're actually really linked. And unfortunately, it doesn't happen where the young girl goes on birth control pills and then she goes back to her doctor and she says, gee, I'm having some mood issues because progestin, that synthetic form of progesterone that's in any sort of hormonal birth control pill, literally affects so much of your mood, your body's dopamine, serotonin levels, all of that is connected. And they say, gee, I am having these issues with depression, and the doctor links it to the birth control pill they're on. No, what do? They give them another pill. They give them a depression pill. So levonorgestrel, which is one of the most common progestins used, literally affects all those things in your body. So it affects the mood issues and it affects the brain. It alters that brain structure. And it's actually more similar to testosterone than our own progesterone, this specific progestin. So this is why it starts to initiate that hair loss and acne and mood issues. And it's literally just not as good as our own progesterone. There's just no correlation between the two at all. And a lot of women are confused because they think, well, I'm having a period. I get my period every month, right? When I bleed, when I stop taking my pills, let me tell you this, that is not a true period. Okay, that is a symptomatic bleed from the withdrawal from the hormones and the synthetic medicine that is in those pills. So you're not having a true period. Okay, because as soon as you start taking birth control, any sort of hormonal birth control that has progestin in it, it stops your brain from communicating with your ovaries. And you are not ovulating. And the only way that you can produce progesterone in your body is through ovulation. So if that process is stopped, you literally haven't had your brain talking to your ovaries for that many years, right? You're not producing your own progesterone. You're not having a true period. It is not happening, literally not happening. And then what happens is we get off the pill and, you know, all those symptoms start coming back of maybe some reasons why we went on the pill to begin with, or even people who didn't have symptoms at first, they can start to experience these symptoms post-pill. Okay, so this is like a serious thing that happens. And then you're so frustrated, you're like, well, I got to go back on the birth control pill because that was my only option. And it just triggers this chain of people really addicted to birth control pills and hormonal birth control because they don't know what else to do, because this is literally all that they know. So this is also can initiate something called post-pill PCOS, where, you know, in the second half after you're getting off the birth control pill, you can actually cause some symptoms of PCOS to start happening, which are high androgens, you know, issues with your ovaries, lack of ovulation, and some people think that they should diagnose someone with true PCOS at that moment, when it really might not be true PCOS at all. It's just a symptom of getting off the pill, and that can last for like 4 to 6 months when you get off the birth control pill. So yeah, and it can cause all sorts of symptoms such as hair loss, again, loss of your period, because again, your brain has not been talking to your ovaries for that long, right? So all of a sudden, you're expecting your brain and your ovaries to be talking to each other, and they're just not. Can also cause an excess androgen rebound, and sebum to start being overproduced on your skin, because all these things inside the hormonal birth control has been suppressing those. And so acne gets flared up again. And, you know, so then people are frustrated and then they jump back on the pill, and we're back and forth. And actually nowadays women are staying on the pill longer than or any sort of hormonal birth control longer than they ever have in the history of the world, or the pill, obviously. And the studies are starting to link that women who are on hormonal birth control are actually less satisfied with their partners and their relationships in general. And it's also affecting the way that they parent and mother and how they show up with their children. And they're more likely to become addicted to drugs and alcohol because their serotonin and their dopamine levels are being affected. So we have to look at ourselves as like a holistic individual, right? And it's correlating. All these things, your dopamine, your serotonin levels, your GABA. GABA really works well with progesterone to give you that calming effect that progesterone gives you. Progesterone is a magic hormone that we absolutely need to feel calm, sane, and wonderful. And we only produce it when we ovulate. And it is necessary to our hormonal health. And GABA really interacts well with that to actually help you have some of the best, you know, progesterone to actually do its work. So when all these things are starting to go down, that's when, you know, the anxiety, the depression, the addictions to, it could be anything. It could be alcohol, drugs, caffeine, food, whatever, you name it, start to happen because of those dopamine, those neurotransmitter levels are literally being affected. So, yeah, I really am passionate about talking about how this is affected in the body, and just reminding you that a pill bleed or a hormonal birth control bleed is not a true period. And a bleed can only happen, a true bleed from your menstrual cycle can happen after you ovulate. So if you're on any sort of synthetic form of birth control, you are not ovulating if there's a progestin involved. So some people will say, well, isn't it better that I just go on the mini pill because all the synthetic estrogens are the problem? Well, no, because really the one that affects the mood and depression, anxiety, and all these other things is the progestin, which is what the mini pill is made of, or any sort of, you know, Mirena or IUD that has progestin associated with it. The inserts, the patch, all of it. Okay, so this is just really important. And, you know, one thing that I want to really just remind you is that you need to be grateful for your monthly cycle. okay? Because I know that we get this bad rap of, oh, my period, blah. And really, it is a monthly report card every month for us to check in to find out how our body is doing. So it's a gift that is given to us. It's exactly a test to say, how was my body functioning this month? And it's an indicator of our health. And so if you have a period, you are producing progesterone naturally if you're not on the birth control pill or any other form of hormonal birth control, and you're ovulating, your brain and your ovaries are talking, which is amazing, which is an amazing thing. So the other thing that can happen when you have hormonal birth control where there's estrogen associated with it is, your estrogens get excited, your ovaries get excited because it says, the estrogen hasn't gone anywhere, and it's still causing those ovaries to get excited every month. We're going to have a releasing party of our eggs, or we're going into ovulation. This is going to be great. And then it doesn't happen. And when that doesn't happen, now we can have all these issues that also are associated with excess estrogen. So the problem is that progesterone is like a superpower hormone, and we've taken it away and we've given us a shitty replacement, because progesterone is one of those hormones that protects us from breast cancer and other sort of cancers, and progestin actually exacerbates the chance of having that. It increases the risk of you having some of these forms of cancer. So what are the benefits of it? A lot of people are on it because they don't know any other way. They think this is the only way, and yes, protecting you from getting pregnant, but there are other ways to do that. There are other ways to do that without the harm that is causing the body by putting this stuff in your body. And so I just want you to hear this. If you are on any sort of hormonal birth control, your body is literally on mute. It kind of instigates an early menopause, if you will. And your body just literally isn't communicating with itself. It isn't talking. And so it's really just putting it on pause. It's on mute. And, how long are you staying on this? How long do you stay on it? And then you start to have serious side effects on the other side. So I think really is it important to think about how it's affecting our mood, how it's affecting literally our brain. The other problem is, the part about being dissatisfied in relationships. Our bodies were designed to be attracted to our perfect mate in lots of different ways, and one of those is pheromones and our hormones syncing with the right person. So think about this, if you're on hormonal birth control and you find yourself attracted to a partner, and you marry this partner, and by the way, the birth control pill is going to totally lower your sex drive. So the thing that you're on it for in the first place to prevent you from getting pregnant, you don't even want to have sex because you feel terrible. So it's like a moot point. So now you're in this marriage, you're in this relationship with this person that you think is your forever person, and you're not really interested in having sex anyways because your hormones are all whack and you don't have any sex drive or ovulation happening. And then you decide to get off of it at some point to either have a baby or you're just getting older, you should get off of it. Imagine the change that literally happens in your brain and in your body, and now this person that's in front of you, you might not be attracted to at all. So this is like a serious thing, and people get divorces, and people, their marriages end. And am I going to blame that all on hormonal birth control? I don't know. There's lots of different factors. Probably the emotional component that women have when they're on the hormonal birth control as well. Depression and anxiety is not helping their case. But just think about that, how it literally affects who you're attracted to and how your body shows up. So the other thing women go on the birth control so much is for PMS, right? But the unfortunate thing is that the birth control pill literally does not affect PMS. And when they started advertising that, a lot of lawsuits came after that because not one study has actually been done on the effect of birth control pills and hormonal birth control actually improving PMS. It actually exasperates it because PMS is really associated with our body sensitivity and that withdrawal from progesterone. So it's affecting your mood and anxiety. It's doing nothing for you in that realm. So there's other ways that we can help with PMS, that we can help with skin issues, that we can help with all these things that have nothing to do with being on hormonal birth control. So And the doctors, of course, will say that it's not related, but it totally is. And I just wanted to bring this aware to you that no studies have ever been done to see how the hormonal birth control actually affects PMS. And the symptoms that you have while you're going on the birth control, hormonal birth control to begin with, are going to be exacerbated when you get off, and can even create new symptoms that you didn't have to begin with, including issues with autoimmune diseases, inflammation in the body, insulin resistance, issue, and what that translates to is issues with your weight, issues with your mood, issues with your skin, issues with your hair. And, that can start any time from 4 to 6 months when you're actually weaning yourself off. So I just want you to be aware of this. A lot of women will call me and have calls with me about working with me, and when they're on hormonal birth control, there's only so much we can do. There's ways that you should definitely be supporting your body while you're on it, but unfortunately, we need to get that pituitary gland talking to your ovaries again, right? And that is a process, and it's not going to happen while we're on hormonal birth control where your body is on mute. So I just want you to think about what you're doing. Any moms who are watching of young girls, be aware. Okay, because I know as moms we're doing the best that we can, and when our daughter's suffering with, PMS and skin issues and all these things, and the answer that we think is go on the birth control pill, so we put our daughters on birth control pills at young ages, her brain is not fully developed yet. You're giving her something that's going to alter the structure of her brain and change how she is. She's going to have struggles with depression and anxiety, and then she's going to need more medication to solve that problem. Don't do it. Okay, there's other ways to help with your cycles, to help with the way that you show up, to help with your energy and your mood, and having the support of somebody who knows about this and how to really give you a cushion so you don't go on the birth control pill to begin with. Now, if you're already on it, I would suggest that you get off right away, but I also know that you need support around that, because getting off the birth control pill or getting off hormonal birth control in any way is going to be a roller coaster ride. Like I said, those symptoms can show up for 4 to 6 months after post pill, okay, post hormonal birth control. So we need a support system around you to help your body bounce back and get it talking to itself again, getting your sex drive back, helping with those excess androgens that are coming up that are causing those skin issues. For me, that was a big issue with my acne, is like, I just was so scared to get off of it because I'm like, my acne is going to come back. My acne is going to come back. Well, it did. It always came back because the androgens got increased and the sebum got overproduced. And I correlated it with just, this is just my body and I need to be on it or else this is going to happen. But actually the pill was increasing these issues when I got off. So getting off fully and really getting your body working properly is really important. So I just wanted to bring, let me look over my notes here and just make sure I got everything. Yeah, the early menopause, the chemical menopause. This is a great point. It literally takes 12 years for your brain to be fully complete and communicating with your ovaries. 12 years. So before you're 25. Okay, so by the time you're 25, your brain is finally settled in and really being able to communicate with those ovaries. So if you're introducing any sort of hormonal birth control before the age of 25, you're affecting the brain's ability, because things are going to be wonky at first when a girl first starts her period, and we're so quick to rush in and give her birth control, give her birth control, give her birth control to help with those wonky symptoms. But part of that is just the brain and the ovaries learning to communicate to each other, and they're going to have to learn to do that. So anytime you start introducing these things before 25, you're causing some major issues. Yeah, it's sad. I'm sad. I'm passionate about this because it's affecting women, it's affecting girls, it's affecting our relationships with each other, our ability to have healthy relationships. And this is why my tagline is healthy women and healthy people, individuals, can have healthy relationships, and healthy relationships heal the world. That's my passion, is helping women feel calm, confident, and in control in their body without the use of hormonal birth control in any form. So I highly invite you to consider getting off if you're on it. And if you're considering starting it or have a young girl that you're considering to put on it, please don't, and look into some of this and research it, okay? Whether that's talking with me or someone else, I'm not attached to whether you work with me or not. I'm just so attached to you being aware of this and feeling connected with what's going on in the world and what the truth is, all right? So I'm going to have to do another video another day to talk a little bit more about PMS and excess androgens and all that stuff because we can't get into it here right now because we're out of time. But I just wanted to share this today. Please share this with somebody if you know they're struggling with these issues, and feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. I go live every Friday on my Feeling Fab Friday to help you have information on how to balance your hormones naturally that you need to know. So you can join me here on Instagram or on Facebook every Friday. If you're not on my email list, you can join me there, and I also send them out via email. So let me see if anybody has any questions. Nobody's typed any questions in, I don't think, on Instagram either. Lots of you are here. I'm so happy you're here watching this. Let me know if you have any questions. You can always post them in the comments below, and I'll come back and answer them as I can. Feel free to reach out to me and direct message me if you need anything. All right, have a fabulous Feeling Friday, and know that you can feel at home in your body naturally. Bye-bye.